You sent a proposal, the client responded, and they want you to join a Zoom interview. Now what? If you're new to sales calls, having an Upwork interview can be totally nerve-wracking. But the good news is you don't need to be a master salesperson to close on these calls. You just need a simple structure and proof. I had zero experience with sales calls, but during my first year on Upwork, I've had over 126 interviews. And with that, I made over 40K on the platform by selling SEO and AI automation. If you want to see one of these sales calls, click this link video up here or here to see how it goes in real time. Now in this video, I'll go over the simple 3-phase format for how to run these calls and how to close more sales. Also, people never show this, but at the end of this video, I'll share one of my real life quotes so you can take a look and copy the format line by line. Now, before I get into this call format, the reason why you should push for a Zoom meeting is because before a client gives you money, they want to see two things. They want to connect with you as a person, and they want to prove your credibility. And a Zoom call lets you do just that. The absolute biggest mistake people make when it comes to Zoom calls is not getting on one as quickly as possible. If a client asks for a Zoom call, here's the secret, okay? Just say, I have a couple minutes right now, actually, if you want to chat. Speed is going to be key here. I spent a good amount of time cold calling. You can see this in my older videos. I'll link those as well, either up here or in the description. But the biggest thing that helps avoid flaking is getting on a call as quickly as possible. If you schedule a call tomorrow, next week, or whenever, the odds of them finding someone else, moving on, or just having their priorities change goes up exponentially. Now, onto the 3-phase format for how you should run these calls. Phase 1, when the call just starts, let them speak uninterrupted as long as possible. You can do this by saying, thanks for the time. Let me know what you guys are dealing with and how I can help. I know this may seem at ends with other sales advice where they say the person who's speaking more is running the sale, etc. That's kind of bullshit. Always let them speak more than you. They want to make sure that you understand them and their pain points. So after that first phase, then you could talk. Now the second phase involves you sharing your evidence and credibility. You don't need to be smooth or extroverted or really good at public speaking. All you need to do is be able to share your screen and show results or examples of your prior client work. The key here is sharing work that directly relates or is very similar to this project you're trying to get. If the client sees examples of you doing these projects successfully in the past, they're much more likely to trust you and give you money. And here's where you speak briefly about yourself and your background and share these projects, but make sure you keep this short and to the point. No one wants to hear you blabber on about past projects that don't relate to them. Now, the third and most important phase is when you actually give them a quote. So say all goes well, they seem to like you, they like your work, and now they ask for how much you charge. People mess this up by not having a quote ready before the call starts. No matter what happens, make sure you have a written quote in front of you on a notepad or a sticky note and have some numbers ready for when they ask. However, for beginners, I actually don't recommend pushing for a close on that call. Instead, I recommend you give them a written quote over messaging that includes your deliverables, your timeline, and when you can start. With this quote, you should also message them 2 case studies of prior work. Now, your case study must include these 3 pieces in this exact order. Up top, a review from that very client, followed by a brief description of the work you've done, and then some images of the results you achieved. If you're in SEO, paid ads, web design, those are all visual and you can provide analytics of your growth or designs, etc. The last piece to include in your quote that most freelancers just don't do are some type of sales incentives. So these 2 I use successfully quite frequently. Feel free to copy these when you give quotes in the future. Depending on your service, if it's social media management, SEO, ads, whatever it is, if there's some kind of like audit or setup or configuration involved, you could say something like the audit or configuration setup fee will be deducted from the first amount if they sign up with you for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, whatever it is. It gives them an incentive to sign up with you long term. The second sales tactic is giving them 10% off if they pay you for 3 months, 4 months, 5 months up front. You'll notice the point of these tactics are 1, to get them to give you more money easily, yes, to get money quicker, and also to get them to stay with you more long term. I guarantee every major service provider has some sort of sales incentive. So if you're not using them as a freelancer, you're losing out on money. So now that you have a basic framework for how a sales call should go on Upwork, check out this video here where I go over detailed practical tips and sales tactics to actually close more sales. Hope this is helpful, guys. I appreciate you watching, and I'll see you in the next one.